the skill that is really valuable these days is not how much you know, it's how adaptable you are. And an interesting thing that I see is there's this debate, like who benefits most from AI? Is it, the folks who are like senior, the best at their skills, or is it the junior folks who can now work fastest? And I think clearly both are benefiting a lot. But what has been interesting for me to see is the folks who are really sharp at their domain and who are adaptable and interested in learning are just doing some insane stuff right now. And they're able to, collapse the skill stack in a way that, I think was just harder before. Like it's faster than ever to go from like, 0 to 80 on a particular domain. And so now if you were like a really good engineer who was like interested in design or interested in marketing or interested in some of these other things, and you had good ideas, the types of things you can do now are very impressive. And so I think the Gen Xers who have like spent their like years in the trenches, like learning a lot, honing their craft, and really know how to do that, who are also embracing AI. Man, I think you're probably very well positioned to build some incredible stuff these days.
Best advice for a young person graduating school who can't get that entry-level job, Wade? What's your best advice to them to break in? Because we are seeing this even in big tech. We're seeing it in traditional companies where, hey, there's somebody on the team who's an elder statesman, as you're talking about. And talking about Gen Xers as elder statesmen is just crazy for me because we were the punk rock kids. But 15, 20 years ago when Web 2.0 came out, what's the best advice then for young people entering the workforce who just don't have a job offer from Google or Meta or, Apple today, and they're kind of concerned that nobody is hand-holding them into a career?
Well, I think like that curiosity is great. Like the thing I remember, I graduated from college in the financial crisis, and no one was hiring then, even if you were a good student. And but this was kind of like the age of the internet. And so like, around when I was graduating, you saw like Stripe and Twilio and Dropbox and Airbnb, like these companies were coming online. And what you could do was you could just go make things. You could build things. You could learn to code. You could figure out how to ship things, and you could email founders and say, hey, I made this cool thing. I think your company could do this, that, or the other. And that sort of like high agency creativity, I don't think that ever goes out of style. And in fact, I think it stands out even more so today. And so if I was, sort of in that same situation again, I would be using all these tools. I would be experimenting with them. I would be building them. I would be finding products I love. Like, I'd be hitting Mikey up and saying like, I love Suno. This is incredible. Like, I think you all should do this, that, and the other. And here I made like a suggested feature. And yeah, I bet good money if I did that, Mikey would email me back and say, hey, let's talk.
If you're selling a business-to-business product, you're looking to reach professional customers who are doing business. And the question you have to ask yourself is, where do those business leaders spend their time? And the answer is obvious: LinkedIn. And these are the real decision makers. So when you advertise on LinkedIn, you're not wasting your money. You're going to target your ads based on job title, based on industry, based on skills. So maybe you want a CFO in the technology space who has been in their job for 5 years, right? You want to zero in on those demographics and behaviors. LinkedIn has over 1 billion members, and 10 million of them are C-suite executives. They're going to help you reach exactly the right person with the authority to pay for your product, right? Go right to the top. Use LinkedIn. And we've got a special offer just for Twist listeners. Launch your first campaign and get $250 free when you spend at least $250. Go to linkedin.com/thisweekinstartups to claim your credit.